All right, let's get out to where the flooding is going right now. We've got Fox Weather senior correspondent Robert Ray live in San Antonio, Texas. Robert, you can see a lot of water behind you. How's it looking this morning?
Yeah, well, we've retreated from the flood zone, Craig and Britta and everyone. We are on the river walk here in San Antonio, Texas. Conditions are calm, thankfully, and it's I think everybody is breathing a sigh of relief here across the region, knowing that what everyone just went through in the past 4 days plus has been nothing short of traumatic and catastrophic. And if we can, let's look at these visuals from yesterday as we awoke and we were live on Fox Weather pre-dawn and witnessing a town that was being really under siege from floodwaters, flash flooding. And this is Uvalde, and it's about 70 miles to the southwest of us. So not too far, but I'll explain a couple things in a second. But you look at all of the first responders trying to block off any kind of roads where people may have gotten out and trying to rescue folks. Over 230 rescues in the past few days, swiftwater rescues, and then also from the air. That town was not only inundated but shut down, meaning every road around imaginable within 30 miles in every direction compromised because of floodwaters, rivers, streams, and creeks that blew up. If you look at some of these visuals from the air as well, neighborhoods that just full of water. All this water has receded, by the way, thank God. But when people have water rushing into their homes and businesses, it's very hard for someone who has not gone through this to understand how scary that is. There's nowhere to go when this happens, whether you're in a vehicle, whether you're on foot, and first responders also having deep trouble trying to get into some of those areas to try and get people out. So the coordination effort by the men and women of all the different first responding groups, kudos to them for being so calm under those incredibly traumatic situations the past few days. Yeah, 2 feet of water falling in some areas. And you're talking about creeks that sometimes don't even have a trickle of water that just exploded up and destroyed so much. So the water has receded in most places, though on some of the rivers it's still running. Unfortunately, 2 people confirmed dead in Kerr County. Governor of Texas, Greg Abbott, declaring an emergency declaration in 59 different counties that is still in play. Of course, well to the north, we do have rain going on this morning in some systems, but in the affected zones that we've been in the past few days, that is essentially over. We may get a trickle here and there, but I do not think we're going to have any kind of catastrophic scenarios. But to put this into perspective also for you guys, when we left Uvalde yesterday at about 4 o'clock Central Time, we tried to go on 90 East, and that's normally, an hour and a half drive into San Antonio. Roads washed away, not able to get through them, so we had to circumnavigate to the south and then come back up to the northeast. It took us about 6 hours in total to get to San Antonio, and that's what everyone is dealing with in those flood zones, unfortunately. Back to you.
And Robert, of course, a lot of communities dealing with flooding, a lot of the news, of course, in some of these hard-hit areas like Uvalde, Kerrville. But right there in San Antonio, the Cibolo Creek, it runs through northwest San Antonio. They had extreme flooding because Bernie, Texas, which is, up to the northwest of San Antonio, picked up too much rain and it had to filter down. So let's talk about that process, the filtering down process. Now we're in the zone where all this water has to get to the Gulf. Folks that live south of San Antonio that weren't even involved in this might see their rivers come up this weekend.
Right, and that's a concern. I mean, especially, as everyone is also watching what's happening in the Gulf right now, and then you've got water that's coming down from the explosion of these rivers up here. I think you said it best yesterday, Britta. I believe it was you that said this on air. It's feast or famine, right?
Yes.
In parts of Texas, it's either dry as a bone, or it's it's just like extreme impacts from the atmosphere. And the thing is about that I worry about Uvalde leaving there yesterday. So most of the water in town had receded or was receding, but the mess left over, and to try to reopen the economy there, it's going to take time. And by the way, people are still really traumatized across this region from July 4th, 2025 in Kerrville, where 135 people lost their life in the middle of the night from nocturnal flash flooding. It's a really real issue in this part of America.
Yeah, still fresh in so many minds out there. That's Fox Weather senior correspondent Robert Ray live from San Antonio this morning. Thank you, Robert.